All right, what is up, everybody? We are back for another gameplay video. This time, Blake is here. I am on the left playing, and I'm here commentating with my boy Robert. We are going to commentate the biggest mismatch in DBS history. So prepare yourselves, people, for what is about to happen.
Some of you might be asking, what is Blake playing? I'll let Blake answer that question.
Yeah, so the answer is Life Flip Frieza. When you take damage, if you don't know what this deck does, basically what happens is that like giant egg looking thing, your 10 cost field with barrier. When you take damage, you flip life face up. That's on the leader card, but the egg lets you tap something. So what I'm trying to do is basically do a ton of resting and tapping. There's Bergamos in the deck, and I'm basically just trying to slow play as much as possible. But I'm not playing just anybody. I'm playing a good player here, so I'm not going to get the advantages of like any of the misplays or people not playing around stuff here. So Debro is a tough matchup for a lot of decks. It's really tough for Life Flip Frieza because it's so big. So what my strategy here going in was I was just going to try and push a ton of damage through earlier and make him combo a ton of cards from hand and try to either keep his life low or his hand low. And there I pulled a dum dum move and force a habit. I took my life to my hand. Um, so and there I tap his Broly, which I don't know that I can do, but I did it anyway.
Well, and it doesn't really do anything because um, it doesn't matter if it's tapped or not in order to use the 7-star ball. And so the eggs skill is once per turn. And so is it Matt playing, Blake? Um,
No, I think this is James.
Oh, so James played it correctly in that, there wasn't a free target for Blake to tap because the egg can tap either energy or battle card.
Yeah, it
Can it
taps
tap leader?
anything. It can taps
Okay.
leader. It taps a
Yeah.
card, so it can tap unisons. So it's a really good effect. Right here, I'm actually using the eggs effect. So the leader doesn't draw. You don't get life to hand inherently. So what you end up having to do is you use the eggs. You take a one drop. You take a Frieza's army card on board and one of your face up life, you place them in the drop, you draw two cards, and you put a 2-cost unison or a yellow battle card, mono yellow battle card face up in your life. And basically here what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to just push a bunch of damage through, and I'm trying like using the war cry to hopefully push a double strike and get him to 4, and he takes it. So I was actually really happy with what happened here because I thought, okay, I limited his resources. His drop should be small, so we should be doing okay. And I felt pretty good about the interaction so far because I'm like, I'm at 7, he's at 4. If I can just get a couple more turns, I can maybe get a wall of like blockers and defense and Nimbus and stuff to be able to protect myself. And then Debro did Debro things. So this next turn right here is really interesting. And there's actually something I want to talk about where I think I misplayed it and misread the situation. So Robert, as the Debro player, what are you doing in this situation? Are you just red balling into a Broly, obviously,
So
and then
in this
trying to get something
situation,
else?
I want to use my energy, right? Because if I hit you, your egg's going to tap an energy. So I'm going to try and use my energy effectively and then swing with my leader and then have you tap the one drop Broly again to kind of no effect. Because again, I could always ball afterwards. So there's
Yep.
not really a lot of benefit to do that. So depending on what I had in my hand, um, I would have liked to use my energy first. So if I had the um, like he charged the Meki, which is potentially weird there, just because you're able to get a ball for free with him. Um, he's playing the tag team go on, so I would have tried to trigger your egg resting ability. And I looked it up, Blake. You are allowed to rest the one drop Broly prior to
Okay.
making my move.
So he plays the Piccolo here. I think he's trying his hardest to just, like, to your point, he's trying to use as much energy as possible so his energy doesn't get tapped because Debro doesn't have like a way to get energy back on Awaken. So you're going to draw. So that's kind of the last thing you want to lose is your energy, because you're one of those decks that gets a limited amount of it. You don't have energy manipulation. And this right here, so this turn is like I'm like, okay, I need to be really careful here with how much damage I take. I have to basically take the 30Ks so I can tap something, and then I have to kind of like try and maybe get out of the unison and leader swing with some cards in hand.
Oh,
So
so here he got his red Broly because he wants to awaken this turn and get his heartfelt out. Because I'm trying to understand why he would do that,
yep,
instead of getting the SR to warp your ape,
yep.
which I don't like having on the board. So if I had to guess, he's swinging. You're gonna rest the blocker maybe, or maybe the unison, and then he's gonna swing with the lead. Well, if you
I
swung with, you could have rested the leader, right? And then, but he could still
Yeah,
awaken. But,
yeah. He still awakens. He still draws two. So I was trying to get rid of his energy so he couldn't play another one drop. But yeah,
mm-hmm.
this is where I made a mistake. I got laser focused on the life, right, and trying to limit his resources. And I was looking at his hand, and I'm like, okay, can I combo out of this? And I had my one of. I'm a Frieza leader, so guess what I get access to? Heartfelt plea
Cold
or
blood.
cold bloodlust. So I could have bloodlusted his heartfelt and done so much good for myself, but my brain wasn't thinking about that because I was laser focused on trying to limit his drop by just like chewing through his life. Um,
Okay, and so I got a question for you here.
yep.
So typically with Dark Broly, you want to swing with your leader so that you get the draw. Then you want to awaken. How is he doing this without awakening his leader?
So at some point here, he's going to actually catch that he didn't flip his leader over. He
Okay,
he he announced his awaken. He said, "I'm gonna awaken. I'm gonna play heartfelt." So
okay,
before anybody in the comments like corrects the fact that he didn't hear, see, he goes, "Oh," like he realizes, "Oh, it'd be helpful if I awakened and drew my two cards, huh?" Like that's actually I think what he said to me. Is he goes, "Well, it would have been helpful if I'd have drawn." And I think that is to your point. That's actually so I think when he was playing around, and I think it was probably the correct thing because he wanted to swing with the 30K, is the timing of it. If he swings at my leader and awakens and hits me, I could or no, I guess I already used my tap effect. So he was free and clear. So yeah, he probably should have swung leader, awakened, done heartfelt during that time, and to get
yeah,
max benefit out of the extra draw. James doesn't really play Dark Broly. I think he actually was kind of lamenting the fact that he was playing Dark Broly this week, which was kind of funny because last week he brought like vintage starter deck Red Baby or Yellow Baby, I think, where you get to like take a life and restand and stuff. So
yeah. But for the viewers, I think the proper play there would have, if you're playing Dark Broly on the turn that you awaken, you want to swing on your unawakened side, draw. If they don't negate, you can, when it's your battle step, you can awaken to draw two. And then when you do that, you could pop the red Broly and get your heartfelt, get your offering off that way. That's
mhm.
how you maximize kind of Dark Broly's draw when he awakens, because now that he's on his awakened side too, he can activate main. Um, and you actually plus four on your awaken turn, one with the swing, two with the awaken, and then one with the activate main, really bolstering your hand.
Yeah, and here I think he's just trying to press hard. He's like really pushing to try and just finish the game. If you notice, the one thing I did before was I flipped over, which means I have to sacrifice the egg, which is really painful because that's basically your whole draw. Then I awakened or I flipped over, and then when you flip over, the Frieza leader has an activate main it lets you take a face up life, place it in your drop, and then draw a card. And then for the battle, your leader gains double strike and plus 5K. In this case, I was just trying to get the plus 5K. I just wanted a little extra power to try and combo out of a swing. Um, so I flipped over for that in the draw to try and cycle, and then here I basically just voluntarily took this one because as far as I could tell, he was tapped out. His drop was basically empty. he wasn't going to be able to cycle enough back. So I figured I was safe to take that one and go to 1, and then I was just going to have to hope and pray that I could not die, because that's pretty much where I was at. I didn't have a Nimbus in hand. I didn't have a Time Magic. I actually put Time Magic in this deck because you're able to spark the Time Magic and take one of your life that's face up. So what you enable in the deck is actually, it allows you to get things out of your life that you need from your life, which is actually really, really beneficial, because like that Nimbus face up would be amazing to have. So having a Time Magic sparking actually lets me go get that Nimbus, which is super helpful playing defense.
Yeah, and for folks watching, Blake actually only has 2 life left. There's a 1 life because
I think I'm at 1.
Frieza dies when it's all flipped up,
Yeah.
right? And then so
Yep.
to Blake's point with the sparking, you actually don't have to flip a life up. You just have to take a life. So you can actually sparking in this particular case for free. I did air quotes that you can't see.
Yeah.
And then so you actually don't lose a life for the spark, and you get to pick a card that you can see from your flipped up life. So to Blake's point, super beneficial interaction for a sparking negate with life flip Frieza.
Yeah, and right here I'm trying to limit his, I'm just trying to get his board size under control a little bit because it's problematic. And then he Gravies, which makes it even worse. He like sets up his next turn and protects his Gohan for another swing, and I'm just like, oh come on, man, you're killing me. Like I'm playing like I'm playing like a tier Z deck. Like it's not even letters anymore. Like we went numbers through the whole number sign. We went into the alphabet, and I'm on Z, like trying to play this jank. I'm just like, you're killing me, Smalls. Like, just give me this moment. Like, let me have this one.
Yeah.
I'm desperately trying here to buff my Unison to 4 because Rejuvenate isn't a marker skill. So my hope is that I can maybe just get a life or 2 back at some point and stay alive for a few more turns, and at some point actually have something to do. So this Tagoma right here is really good. It's absolutely insane. You place one of your face-up life in your drop and draw 2 cards. So he enables a ton of draw power when the egg is gone. And if you can see, like, when I first started playing this deck, I really struggled with hand size. Since I've kind of learned a little bit on how to manipulate my hand more efficiently, and it's still tough. I'm trying to figure out what to do here. Not having any sort of energy manipulation is really hard in this deck because you don't do anything when you flip. Like you don't get any draw, you don't get any energy stand. Even if you just stood 1 energy, it would make a world of difference because tapping out in this deck is basically suicide. It's just you're just asking to be
And,
like mowed down.
and there's nothing you can do about that heartfelt. So it's just like looking at this Frieza versus like Mecha Frieza, you're just like, why would anybody play this?
Yeah, luckily here
Blake's trying to win locals with it though. He's working on it.
yeah, and here he swung. It actually worked out okay because he swung with his leader, so I was able to Nimbus, which was a miracle. I was like, oh, okay, I caught a little break. he he swung lead and not battle card first. So now I'm pretty sure that I should be okay to just have one more swing. And if you see the Frieza, which is one of my favorite cards from this set from the way it looks, there's that face up Frieza in my life where he's hanging from the tree, and it's called Frieza Same Stuff Different Day. And that's actually a negate that you can play from your life face up. And because of the way you manipulate your life in this deck, and you're able to put cards in your life face up when you take cards out of your life face up, you can actually set that negate up where you instead of going -1 in hand, you basically put a negate in your hand by extension. And it also can't be touched, interestingly enough, by Invoker, which is actually hilarious because I was able to negate some swings from Invoker, but then I basically got pressed down to just death, and that was painful. So I lost to Invoker this night too, which made me sad because I thought maybe I could be really super spicy, but it didn't work. It didn't work at all. Yeah, so we're coming with the heartfelt. I got that Frieza on tap, and I was like, yep, he's coming out. We're not getting triple strike. We're not dying. But at this point, I'm running out of options. I'm kind of just I'm grasping at straws, trying to hope I can get back in this game. you don't. I don't like moral victories in life, but I will say, charging a fourth energy against Dark Broly with Life Flip Frieza did feel kind of like a little bit of a moral victory. I was okay with.
I just have to say that Blake never lets me keep my heartfelt plea when I get it on board. Even when I played like Kid Koo, now with D-Bro, like Heartfelt comes on and he's instantly dead. I'm like, how is Heartfelt? There's like 3 turns in, like Heartfelt's still just swinging away. Like, Blake, what's wrong with you, man?
Dude, I in this instance, like really what it came down to is I just didn't have a way to kill it. Like I didn't have anything big enough to swing over it, and there's zero removal for big stuff in this deck. So I'm basically at I feel like I'm a complete lost cause right now. I'm just like I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm continuing to try and strategize a way I can win. So I know he's going to eat the block here with my leader, which is fine because I just want to be able to get a draw and get this off. This is one of the Frieza tricks right here that I finally got to pull off. There's a few cards that when placed from your life face up in your life into your drop, you can tap an energy and play them. There's this one, and then there is one other Frieza that is a blocker, and then the Unison, if it's placed into your drop from your life face up, what it allows you to do is it allows you to it allows it to be played with one marker on it. So you basically get a free Unison, and you can get really cheap battle cards. The 3-drop Frieza right there is a 19k, so it's really good because it's a 19k double strike. So it has some real value to it. Here, I'm trying to push a little bit of damage, or maybe eat up his hand a little bit to try and minimize his next turn, because I have a time magic in hand, so I'm gonna negate into the Nimbus sparking. So here he's blocker. He's like that's something that actually I think kind of threw me, because Robert never uses his blocker Broly as a blocker. He uses it as gas. So like James was like, blocker, and I was like, oh, I forgot that was a blocker.
I don't believe in defense. Best defense is a good offense.
Robert's never heard defense wins championships.
No. Um, I will say that when playing Dark Broly, this kind of goes back to Blake you nimbusing. There is no reason basically ever to swing with the leader first, just for all of the negates, violent rays or anything, flying nimbus. If you don't swing with a battle card first, you just lose value, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
even if they were to Zamasu your leader, you don't draw off your leader anyway. So
Yep.
usually with Dark Broly, it's just always swing with a battle card first. Like in this particular case, I would have swung with Heartfelt. Just because if it gets a Masuda or what have you, or Nimbus, you would lose that triple strike. So, um,
Yeah, the
yeah.
painful part here is that I sparking time magic to take the Nimbus, so he saw me take the Nimbus, and because of that, he swung another battle card, which basically put me in a spot where I'm effectively dead because I have to discard a card, and now he's going to swing another 30k, and I'm out of negates. So I basically have to hope I can. Oh, he's going to play something else. Never mind. I thought he was going to swing there. Oh, yeah. He made it worse. He's like, oh, there we go. Okay, but then he warps it. So it felt kind of bad because I was like, I have to keep it tapped because my hand is small. I need the combo power. Um, but
Could you have? Oh, because it rests the card being played. You don't get to pick
yep,
what it rests.
yep,
Okay.
yeah. So it comes in rest mode. So here I pitch. I'm trying to draw. I'm hoping for a super combo. I hit a super combo, like top deck Jesus. That one, like just praying to top deck Jesus. I hit it. He left it at 30, so now I'm just trying to combo out, um, which I was able to do. And then he's going to swing with leader, and now I think I'm dead because he's got more cards than me, and he has a whole bunch of 30Ks on board. So I'm or no, he activate mains just to get his. I think this is where he just activate main to draw a card. Um. Oh nope, he's swung with leader. Okay, not sure what happened there. Yep, and then he just like taps all his energy, and he goes really big. So He spread them across the board so we could count them, and then he like just so we can see them. So I know the Demigro looks like it's in the drop, but he just put it over there for me to so we could count it. So, and then I'm gonna do the math. I think I very clearly am like, no, I'm definitely dead, but I'm gonna try. So, yeah. So he was big there, and I at that point I was just like I was trying, and I stayed alive for longer than I thought I would. I thought this was gonna be like a 2 energy game. He was just gonna smoke me. In hindsight, like the Cold Bloodlust opening hand should have been held for Heartfelt, because at least it gets me out of that first triple strike and keeps my life high. But and there I actually went back and got it because I was like, I have it in the deck. I don't know why I did it. He's just like, yeah. And then the last card on the bottom of my deck was Celzino. So this game wasn't gonna go my way no matter what. But I like this deck is really interesting, and I've been trying desperately. It's my Go Hanks, Robert. That's what this is.
Hey, you gotta play the jank sometimes to make you appreciate the broken.
Yeah, it's true. So, like we always say in our videos, if you like it, please give us that like and subscribe if you haven't. If you have any suggestions on this deck, if you've been messing with it, you have some ideas, or if you're interested in the deck list or anything, let me know. I'm gonna keep messing with it. Every time I lose with it at locals, I've taken it to locals twice. I've gone 1 and 2 both times. But games have been close. I've been right there. It feels like between 2 and 1, and maybe getting just one more win and having like a winning record with it. So I'm going to continue to play with it. And every time I lose, I swear off the deck. And then like 2 or 3 weeks passes and I'm like, I'm doing it this time. I made some changes. I know I got it. So if you have any suggestions and you want to help me try and win the locals with this deck, let me know. If you're just interested in the deck list, let me know. Like we could do a deck profile for this or the Go Hanks. We always take suggestions. So thank you guys for hanging out with us. Robert, thanks for hanging out and talking. And come back next time and we'll see you here.
Absolutely. Have a great one, guys.